And I'm here this morning with Heidi from TBCC. Good morning, Heidi.
Good morning.
And you guys so TBCC just finished their Mildred Davey, what do you call it? Scholarship luncheon?
Yes. So each year the Tillamook Bay Community College Foundation has a scholarship recognition luncheon, and it's actually in honor of Mildred Davey. Mm-hmm. So our very first endowment that we had at the college was actually the Mildred Davey Endowed Scholarship Fund, and that started, so let's see, the donations, the fund itself started in 2000, so 16 years ago.
Wow.
I know, pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And then the first scholarship was awarded in 2002. So even, Mildred used to be there with us in the beginning at the event. Right. And now, as we know, she is not, but we still hold it in her honor. We still have a dozen yellow roses there that we give away. I know, it's exciting. So, and what was really cool is, Van Moe is on the foundation board. And of course, he, worked with Mildred, knows her very, very well. I'm sure. And then Chris Weber is the president of the foundation board this year. And so he also worked here with Mildred and knows her. So the program, I thought the program was very touching this year because he could really talk about Mildred in a way that, so I didn't personally meet her.
Right.
Which is surprising considering all the different times I'm in and out of here, and, I should have met her, but I hadn't. So anyway, it was kind of neat because he could really talk about her personally and why we have the event in her honor. I mean, she was such an advocate for higher education. Well, education overall, but higher education. And she never had the opportunity to go to college. And I think it bothered her most of her life. And so for her, encouraging young people to go and to find access to going through scholarships and support was just really, really key. So
Yes, and as we're talking about this, we're in the Mildred Davey room at KTIL with all of her pictures all around.
I know. I was just looking around at that.
Yep. So. And all of her certificates and all of that. Yes, very much a pillar in this community. Mm-hmm. And do you award scholarships? Remind me what happens at the actual luncheon.
Right. So scholarships are awarded each spring. So in March, so this next March, the foundation will open up all of its scholarships. Students apply. In the fall, when we start school and they enroll and they're there, we have, it's really just a recognition. It's actually pretty cool. The students each get to stand up and say what they're studying and the scholarship that they have. Mm-hmm. And I mean, every year there's always a moment where everybody's,
choked up.
Breath catches in their throat because the student says something that is just so impactful. Right. And it happened again this year, and it's really neat. So as far as the scholarships go, I don't have a count with me today of how many students were actually in the room, but basically, we had, so this is pretty cool. This is this community. In 2014-15, we had 8 annual scholarships, not our endowments, but an annual scholarship would be Kiwanis Club of Tillamook. It has a Lyle Speck Memorial. Right. It's funded every year. The Rotary has a scholarship. They fund every year. For instance, Orella Chadwick's family stepped forward and started a scholarship for the new Ag and Natural Resource degree program, funded every year. Now, if a service club shifts priority, they're not required to fund that. It just wouldn't be awarded that year. Right. So in 2014-15, we had 8 annual scholarships. This year, we had 23.
Wow.
23.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. Now, I will say that 5 of those are the Mario and Alma Pastega Family Scholarship. They award $5,000 scholarships to students, and it's really based on merit, which is how are you giving back to your community? So the students write an essay about that. So 5 of those really are just under the umbrella of one scholarship. But to think about the community stepping forward just in 2 years with and now at 23. Yeah. So,
and is that just people saying, "Hey, I want to, our foundation or our organization just wants to, how can we help, and we want to give a scholarship?" That's amazing.
I'll give you a really cool example. So he won't mind if I say his name.
Okay.
But anyway, so Dale Harmer lives in Netarts, and he's truly, I mean, this isn't like a cliche thing to say, he truly is a lifelong learner. I mean, he seeks out opportunities. So he comes to TBCC and he takes a class. He audits a class. He's not even, enrolled and has to, but he audits a class. Had such an amazing experience that he sends President Green an email and just says, "Wow, I have to tell you, the quality of the teaching that took place in the classroom and the interaction of the students. I mean, he was just blown away. And through those conversations, he said, I want to come up with a way to honor faculty. So we started what was called the Teaching Excellence of the Year Award. So every year, a faculty member that demonstrates excellence in the classroom, and they're nominated by the students. We don't do it. We don't pick them. The students tell us, right? So we have a way to do that, a whole process, and we give a $1,000 gift and recognition to a faculty member or an adjunct. It doesn't even have to be full-time faculty because you can be an amazing teacher in the classroom and not be, full-time.
Right.
Someone teaching from our career tech programs, if you will. And so he starts that. So that was great. And then he comes and he says, you know what I really want to do? I really want to support a Latino student who's going to school. He said, I know that they don't have as many scholarship opportunities. Sometimes they aren't eligible for the federal financial aid, the Pell Grants. And so he now gives for a scholarship for that. So this is the second year that we've done it, and there's a $2,000 Futuro Brillante scholarship that
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, he has a company match, which is really, really cool, which anybody who's listening, we have several of our donors to the college and the foundation who actually are able to get company matches. So Dale retired from Boeing, and so when he makes a gift to us, Boeing matches it.
That is cool.
Yes, very cool. So appreciate that lots. But that's how a scholarship comes about. This last weekend, we had a pretty good time at the Neatarts Fire Hall. So Ben Nunez, who owns the Terrymore Hotel in Neatarts, he turned 80 and was having a big celebration about that. And what he wanted to do, so in lieu of gifts, he created an endowment for scholarships for students over at the college. Yeah. So instead of gifts, there was a little basket, and people were it's exciting. And ultimately, the point of that is a student is going to have an opportunity to get a higher education that's going to benefit them in their lives. They're going to now leave a legacy within their family because now, if they happen to have kids, they're not a first-generation college student. They actually have somebody who's been through this, can support them and help them get, go on their way and get a college education.
Yeah. And it also feeds back into the community because now we have more educated folks in the community.
And so that could be through going on to get a bachelor's degree and then continuing to live here, because you can do that online now. Like our ag program is a great example of that. You can do your first 2 years at Tillamook Bay Community College. You can stay right here in the community, keep your job where you're working at if you're working and going to school, and enroll online through OSU. Yeah. And end up with your 4-year bachelor's degree without even having to leave. So it's
so cool.
It is cool. And I know I'm kind of like on a roll here.
That's
I apologize.
Right.
Take a breath. Well, our our technical education programs as well. So we just expanded. I know this summer we were talking about this, but we redesigned our criminal justice and public safety degree. So it's more than just criminal justice. It does include that umbrella of public safety. So it's about corrections, but it's also about law enforcement. It includes our emergency services that we do. And all of that has been a project that was worked on with the community. So what does the community need? Because ultimately that's what a community college is all about. We serve the needs of this community. So yeah, it's been really fun. And I had a personal goal with my foundation board, started about 18 months ago. And our goal really was to make sure that we had a scholarship in place for every single one of our career technical programs, aside from just the general scholarships that we offer. And it was really exciting. Going into this year, we were able to offer a scholarship opportunity for every single career technical program that we have. Yeah, we were excited.
Talking about the public safety, I saw there was a really cool video, and I'm sure it's still on the TBCC Facebook page.
It's our Facebook, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's not TBCC, it's Tillamook Bay Community College is what the Facebook page is. But yeah, there's a really great video, I think it's like 2 or 3 minutes, that talks about kind of some of the instructors and students that are in it are talking and what it's done for them. And wasn't there just the first graduate from that program or something?
That was from the Agriculture Natural Resources had the first graduate.
Okay.
Because we've had the criminal justice program for quite a while, but it has morphed into this just a little bit more robust and broader. Right. So more students really are able to find careers within the community through it. But yeah, I know. Judge Justice of the Peace, Joel was on there. Paul Fournier was on there. I can't remember the name of he's in Rockaway, he's not the sheriff. I can't remember.
Charlie? Chris?
Yes.
Charlie?
Up there. He was in the video.
Yeah.
And they're really just talking about how it prepares students to then go out and get jobs in this community in those fields. So
because before it was focused a lot on corrections, correct?
Yes.
Corrections, correct. And now it's a little bit more all-encompassing of all levels. That's awesome. Yeah, go check out that video. It's really good. We're going to take a quick break, talk about the smoker. You want the real thing, quality beef right out of the smokehouse. Tillamook Country Smoker is pulling out a batch right now. Pioneers of a unique brand of beef jerky, Tillamook Country Smoker ships thousands of pounds throughout the world every day. Visit the retail store on Warren Street at Highway 101 in Bay City. They're open 9 to 5, 7 days a week. 2-foot-long pepperoni sticks for $1 and great deals on bags of jerky. With their commitment to quality, it's not done till it's done right. Their commitment to craft is a family tradition. No corners cut, no compromises. The job's done right at Tillamook Country Smoker. And be sure to visit them online at tcsjerky.com. So we're here talking to Heidi from TBCC, and you guys have a new building.
We are building a new building. Yes.
It's exciting.
Partners for Rural Innovation Center. So I hope everybody knows about this by now because we've been so excited.
Just drive down 3rd Street and look across from the fairgrounds. You'll see it.
And it's really coming together this past week because they've done all the exterior painting or the first blush of that.
Right.
And they're inside doing the drywall and the painting right now.
Exciting.
I know. I get to go in next week because I have a contractor coming to look at a wall. One of the things that we'll do when it's all said and done is we'll put up kind of a stewardship wall that just says,
oh, nice.
Those that have donated and contributed to the raising of that entire facility for this community. So we'll have a really neat display that just recognizes everyone who's done that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of, you need a little bit more money, right? How much
just
more?
Just a little bit.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, it is just a smidge.
You know what? I know. This will sound like a big number, but really we are at 4% away from the goal. So it was a $5 million project.
Yeah.
And we had to raise a little over, let's see, what was it, about $1.2 million. And we're 179,000 away from that. So we are so close. It's exciting. And there are people that are still interested. And one of the things you and I spoke about before we got on the air that we're moving into end of year giving.
Yep.
And so it's a great time to give. If you want to hear more about what that building is going to provide for our community as far as the services and the things that are going to happen in there, give me a call President Green, call Troy Downing at OSU Extension because I know he is extremely excited as well as his
right,
staff.
because they get to move in there.
Yeah, they're moving in there. And so one of the big benefits really of that new facility, I mean, there's so many I could again go on and on. I will not. But, earlier in this discussion, we were talking about just creating a college-going culture. So encouraging people to go to college. Partnering with OSU Extension like that. So the 4-H Leaders Association will be there. I'm not indicating necessarily that the clubs are going to meet there, but it is our hope and desire that there are some that use that because we have great classrooms that are going to be in there and meeting
rooms and
there'll be a demonstration kitchen in there.
Right.
So it's a great facility to encourage those 4-H groups to be there. And part of that for me is they'll see how the industry around agriculture and natural resources, they're going to see people working in those capacities. We're hoping that it inspires and motivates students to then go on into higher education. So we have a lot of hope that we see those kinds of outcomes from this. And I believe we will. So that's some of the exciting pieces of it.
Yeah, for sure. So $179, if someone wants to make a donation.
Oh, yes.
How do they do that?
They can, they'll want to make it through the foundation. And the reason why I say that is the foundation is a 501c3.
Oh, sure.
So we're nonprofit. So there'll be some tax benefit for doing that. So they can contact me at the college. My number there is 503-842-8222. And I'm extension 1025. They can call myself. They can call President Green. They can just call into the switchboard if they'd like.
Right.
But basically, just let us know what you'd like to do. There's so many different ways to give. And I'm just getting ready. The one thing I want to give a little bit of kudos to the Headlight Herald just for a quick moment. So it's the 35th anniversary of the college this year, and they have been so awesome to us in that we spoke with them the end of the previous year and asked if we could run a feature each month that details a program, a service, an alumni, the foundation, ways that the college provides benefit back into the community, and we would tell those stories really through a student to the best of our ability.
Sure.
They've been awesome with that. This month is on the foundation. So we're getting ready to put out some information that'll hopefully be helpful to the community on different ways to give. So one of our major donors to the Partners for Rural Innovation Center right now is actually using an IRA distribution. So if you're over a certain age, you're required to take distribution from IRA, and there's a cap. I mean, you'd need to understand kind of how that works, but you can just designate that goes to the foundation.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So if you are in a position in your life where you don't have to have that income, but you're required to take it, right? So it's a way that you can actually really impact a nonprofit, whether it's us or another nonprofit in our community that has been important to you in your life. One of the things that you'll see in that article is we're going to talk about appreciated stock, which is another excellent way to help yourself and help us, because appreciated stock can have really big capital gains.
Oh, sure.
On
implications. In your tax time.
So there's lots of different ways to give, and we're more than happy to talk with anyone. And we have a lot of good professionals in our community too that you can reach out to. Your tax advisor, for one, is a phenomenal resource to you, just to say, hey, I want to learn more about some of these things. Some of the estate planners in our community.
Oh, yeah.
Really good ways to do that.
Is the foundation, I would assume the answer is going to be yes, but are they also, and I know it's kind of a little drop in the bucket, but it's a drop, the Freddie's Community Rewards Program, are you on there?
I'm not sure if we are. I probably should be, shouldn't I?
I'm sure you probably are, but yeah, you might want to check
I
into
better
that.
check into that. That would probably be all on me. So I better look into that, because
I know.
See, that's a great way. It's a great way. I know when I was at the little school before I was here, Nescoin Valley School, we were on there, and we saw that. We would see it come through, and it was exciting that people would sign us up to get
and it
those.
doesn't cost anybody any money. It just
it's just a service that Fred Myers. It's really a gift from them. So.
Yeah, totally. We're going to take a quick break and talk about Tillamook Motor Company, and then maybe when we come back, we can talk about winter term.
Oh yes, let's do it.
Now's the time to visit Tillamook Motor Company. The Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks 39 years straight, is what you're looking for, and it'll get the job done. And you're going to find some great deals at Tillamook Motors. Whether it's the 2016 Super Duty or the F-150, they've got your truck. Go further with Ford and find your ride at Tillamook Motors on the friendly corner of 5th and 7th and Main in downtown Tillamook. Tillamook Motor Company, a better place to do business. We're talking to Heidi from TBCC, and I know we're in the middle of fall term, I guess. Yeah, right?
We are.
Kind of. And then winter will be here before we know it.
It will be.
Because fall came real quick. It was June, and then all of a sudden it was September.
Yeah, and it almost felt like winter last week, right? With all the crazy. Oh my goodness!
Yes. Well, and last night it was so chilly. I was like, "Ooh, that really feels like fall."
Yeah. So yes, now is a great time to get ready if you are thinking about going back to school. So the term starts the 9th of January, but registration opens November 21st. So that gives us about a month. If you're on the fence trying to figure out, do I want to go? Do I not want to go? Call our student services team. Talk to a financial aid advisor. Sit down with a career education advisor and say, I'm working full time, but here's my end game. This is what I really want to do with myself. Right. I want to be in this kind of career. This is what I want to do. Go talk to John Sousa. Talk to Kara Elder. They'll sit down and say, okay, so let's look at how we might be at TBCC able to help you get there.
Sure.
Do you already have some education? Can we transfer it in? There's lots of different things to look at. I know the Oregon, the acronym is OSAC, and I think it's the Oregon Student Access and Completion Grants open November 1. Right now, you can start doing your federal application for financial aid, for Pell Grant. But those are all really good things that you can be doing right now to get ready so you can hit the ground running in January. So, like I said, registration opens 21st of November, so you really have from, the end of November until the beginning of January to go through the application and enrollment.
That is also the week of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And as we all know, those last 5-6 weeks of the year go super fast.
Yes.
So yes, if you can start planning now, do it.
Yeah. It's a good time. And just meeting and just hearing what it's all about. If you're just thinking, gosh, I'm going to go back a little bit to the Mildred Davie event.
Yeah.
So we play a video every year, the last couple of years, and it is of students that are going there right now that have received scholarships for this year. And we have a couple of students. And two of the women in the video this year said, one of them said, I struggled through my 20s. I was really, I wasn't happy with, what I was doing. I was barely making ends meet. And she said, at some point, I just said to myself, I've got to make a change in my life. Yeah. I've got to find a way to not be in this cycle. And so she's a great testimony to going back and really making a change. So she's excited. She's in the middle of it. She's doing really well. The other woman said, I don't want to be a minimum wage worker my whole life.
Right.
And so she went back to school, and she's just an amazing, she is bilingual and does some translation for families just on her own time. Cool. So families in the elementary school don't go to parent conferences and not feel like they can understand.
Right.
She's like, I've been there. I know what that's like, and I want to help others. Pretty neat group of people.
Yeah.
But anyway, so find out if you want to make a change, and even a higher level change. I mean, if you're a supervisor or you want to be a supervisor, look into what that would take. I mean, we have an online business administration program. How nice would that look for an employer? You could take classes online from home at night, whenever, myself. When it's
convenient for you.
Yeah. Yep. After the kids go to bed at night, sit down, put in your time. When it comes time for an advancement, you're going to have that. You're going to have that not just on your resume, like on, a piece of paper or a diploma on the wall.
Right.
You're going to have the skills. You're going to have the knowledge. You're going to have the confidence to actually go in and increase your lot. So, yeah.
And I like you put it, when we were talking before we went on the air, you put it a very good way. If you're thinking maybe making a New Year's resolution.
Yes,
it's
absolutely.
a perfect time to kind of start working towards that goal of whatever that may be. Like you said, maybe you're in a job you're kind of bored with, or there's an advancement you want, but you don't think you're qualified for it. Go see what TBCC has to offer class-wise.
Right.
Yeah. So what did you say? November 21st, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which is the week of Thanksgiving. So start thinking about it now. Is the winter catalog out yet?
Not yet. We're working on it right now. It hits, usually what we do is we try to get the winter, any of the schedules, the course schedules out 2 weeks before registration opens. So we're in the process of that right now. It's actually in the proofing stage. We've got everything set. And so really a couple weeks into November, you'll see that in mailboxes.
Yeah, I always like to
and
look
then we'll get it posted up on the website. So.
Right. And always in the back, which I enjoy looking at, is kind of the community continuing education community classes, which aren't really credited, right? I mean, you don't get a credit for it usually.
Right. They're non-credit. They're mostly for just, personal fulfillment, health and safety. One of the things that we do is we run for the hospital has a lot of their classes, the diabetes management and those kinds of things.
Yep.
And so we try to put that in here. You'll find the driver's education information in there, except I will say, if I'm not mistaken, we don't typically offer driver's education during winter. So look at that. I think where we live,
right?
Not you don't want to put a young driver on the road,
where it might be icy or frosty, whatever. But I always like looking in the back. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. There's art. There's, like you said, physical education, because I think all the Y has a lot of classes through
the college,
TBCC, and so does the NCRD if you're up north.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, up in Halem. What else is there? I mean, there's like sewing, and is there cooking?
No, there used to be. We've really tried to focus more on health, wellness, safety. We do the personal enrichment, but we really do it based on what the community is asking us for.
Sure.
We just don't have those same. There was a period of time when we did do a lot more with community education, but as we've grown and increased what we're doing on the credit side for students, we've kind of decreased what goes on the non-credit side. And we also have our GED preparation courses. Sure. So if you're thinking, that's another excellent New Year's resolution is to go back and get your GED. And right now we have a partnership with the American Association of University Women where they have some scholarship dollars available to help students take the test, because there is a fee to take the test, right? And not everybody has, extra money to do that.
Right.
So there's some opportunity through that.
Cool. So start looking. When you said that it was being proofed, I thought, I would not want to be the proofer for that.
Yeah, no.
That's a lot to look through and read, and a lot to catch.
It can be, but we do the best that we can. And if there ever is any issue, we put it on the website.
Sure.
We always, the most current place to always look is on the website.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's because things happen
Change.
between now and then,
Sure.
and something gets added.
Yeah, because that's kind of a long ways.
Yeah, it is a
like
long lead time.
2.5 months out that it has to go out. So
and sometimes we get things added. We have a North and South County presence, as you know, at the high schools. And so we try to have classes in each of those areas that would support, what citizens down in South County. And sometimes we get classes added late in those different capacities, more on the non-credit side. So, yeah.
So keep your eyes out for the winter. And it is a great time to have a New Year's resolution. And even if it's not going back to school for a specific education purpose, maybe it's starting up a class through the Y or the NCRD or just some type of other community class that you have in the back there.
Right. Another thing too to think about is we do put these in our schedule as well, is what the Small Business Development Center is offering.
Yeah. There's a lot of great classes there.
They do a phenomenal job. They've really upped their game in the last couple of years. It's been exciting to watch that. Mike Cohen's leadership has really made an impact. So that's another thing too, is, if you're considering starting a small business or you want to take your small business to the next step, reach out to that team. And you can find that information on our website under, I think it's programs and services. There should be a link, I think. If it's not there, it's under resources to the Small Business Development.
It's under resources.
Under resources.
Under community links.
Yeah, to the Small Business Development Center. They're fantastic, and that's one of the groups that's going to go out to the new Partners building.
Right.
So it'll be OSU Extension, Small Business Development, Open Campus, and I don't know if you heard. So Emily Henry and her husband. So she's still in Open Campus, but just not in our district here.
Right.
And when she moved out of the area, then we hired for the Ag and Natural Resource Coordinator position, which was shared with OSU Open Campus, and Hayden Bush now has that, which is really exciting because I think a lot of the community is familiar with Hayden.
Right. Well, and his wife teaches at the
Brooklyn
high school.
She's the FFA teacher over there. So really excited to have. That's kind of a powerhouse duo you've got there. So we're really excited of what's going to happen with that degree or Ag and Natural Resource degree program in the next few years when you consider the work that they do collaboratively together. So
totally.
Yeah.
Lots going on at the college.
Absolutely.
Always. Excited to see that new building. Let's see. We are out of time, but tomorrow we'll have Mark Labhart here. Don't forget, if you haven't been downtown, there's lots of construction activity. I think 2nd Street's closed now. The lanes on Pacific and 1st Street have been shifted over. So just slow down, take caution, be alert. There's flaggers out this week, I believe, flagging through the intersection. So just be careful there. Don't forget senior meals, 11:30 at St. Mary's by the Sea in Rockaway Beach every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also noon every weekday at the Kaiwana Community Center in Pacific City. Cost is $3 for seniors and $6.75 for everyone else. Tomorrow at 10:20 is a Great Oregon Shakeout. Join millions of folks worldwide as they practice earthquake drop, cover, and hold on drills. You can get more info at shakeout.org. On Friday, join Garibaldi Museum and Seaside Brewery for an evening of beer tasting and a fundraising raffle. 4 to 7 in the Garibaldi Museum Community Room. There is a $5 surcharge for beer and food. On Saturday, there's an open mic night being held at Yo Time at 6:30 in downtown Tillamook, a community celebration of story, poetry, original song, and other literary arts. This is organized by Art Accelerated. And Saturday is also National Prescription Drug Take Back Day, which aims to provide a safe, convenient, and responsible means of disposing of prescription drugs while also educating the general public about the potential for abuse of medications. But the Sheriff's Office wants you to know that they have a year-round bin at the Sheriff's Office for disposing of prescription medication. No questions asked. Hey, Heidi, thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
always fun to hear what's going on at TBCC.
Well, thank you. We look forward to it, and we'll see you next month.
Okay, and thank you, Tillamook, for listening.